Okay. The Hoppe and Super Rich Show with Hoppe.
Roger Goodell is a buffoon.
Super Rich.
Unless it's a DP.
Risky.
He should have been shot.
And Timmer.
I think I need some lotion and some tissue.
Streaming on HoppeRadio.com. Hoppe and Super Rich on WNUR 89.3 begins right now.
Play.
What's up? This is the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. I'm Ryan Hoppe, and Super Rich and Risky couldn't make it in today because, of course, they're too cool. They have to go to a Bears game. Lucky them. So call the show. 847-866-WNUR. It's 847-866-9687. But we do have two co-hosts here. One is a regular co-host and a producer of the show. We have Timmer here. What's up, Timmer?
What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much. And the new contributor, or not really new, but like the fan of the show and contributor, K-Wall is here. What up, dude?
How you doing, Hoppe?
I'm doing fantastic. All right. And if the listeners are a bit shy or maybe a bit drunk and they don't have the power to call us, but they have their laptop open and they want to tweet at us live all our opinions, it's not very hard. Tweet at me. I'm at Hoppe Radio 893. What are you at, K-Wall?
I am at KWall31. K-Wall with two L's.
And what about you, Timmer?
You can find me at Twitter or on the Twitter at TIMM_3R.
All right. I have a little bit of a thing I want to get off my chest. Oh, geez. Something that's been irking me for years now. And I'm going to have K-Wall read this article. It says, welcome to the world's worst World Series ever. And it's written by this guy who looks like a sports nerd named David Schoenfield. And here's my thing before we get to the whole article reading, before we break down why sports analysts is the biggest joke ever because they never played sports, they have no talent, they're fat losers or they're nerds. So then they just break it down because they were never good enough to play it. But here's the thing. I used to be one of those guys. I used to get so mad when the Bears would lose. But then I realized they're always going to lose. So why waste your effort getting mad? Part 2. I used to scream at the TV, oh my God, how could you throw that interception, you idiot? And I used to do a show on my morning announcements at Hersey High School, Ryan Hoppe is Burning, and I would rant about, oh my God, these guys suck. Even the worst player in the NFL is better than we will ever be. So to any of these sports analysts, these trolls, these losers, these scumbags, these leeches, these Monday morning quarterbacks who contributed nothing to the team, who type up these cute little articles on ESPN.com or Bleacher Report, or they do their little radio show, and now you're saying, well, Ryan, you're doing a radio show. I don't do sports talk because, number one, I can't break it down, and number two, I'm not going to be a phony and pretend that I know anything about sports because I don't. I watch it. But I can't tell you how Kyle Long did as an offensive lineman or if Tom Thibodeau's defense was top-notch last night. And all these idiots that do sports radio and hide behind a mic, or all these idiots who type up their cute little articles, the worst part about them is they don't even know what they think. One day they're like, oh yeah, the Bears are screwed. The Bears lost to the Packers. And then, of course, the next week, Jay Cutler throws the most yards ever as a Bear and beats the Falcons. Now he's our messiah. Second thing that annoys me about these scumbags, these little pussies who would never say it to the athlete's face, they say, oh, well, these guys are losers. These guys can't get it done. They're overpaid dumbasses. Like, they type this in their articles. They insult them. Well, maybe not in that way, but they do it in their own way. Or you have a guy like David Schoenfield saying, welcome to the world's worst World Series ever. An actual article on ESPN.com. Here's the thing. I dare you to go into the locker room of the Kansas City Royals or the San Francisco Giants and say it to the manager, Bruce Bochy, or say it to the guy who hit the home run, the Asian guy. What's his name, K-Wall? They hit the home run to beat the Cardinals.
I can't even recall.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who hit the home run, go up to him right now and say, it's going to be the worst World Series ever. And it's not going to be because the Giants are an elite team that have been there 3 in the last 5 years. And you have Kansas City, who hasn't made it since Ronald Reagan was president. So David Schoenfield, shut the hell up, you baseball nerd. I don't know you. I'm not trying to burn a bridge with ESPN. But it's just so sickening that these losers who never played sports, who are all into numbers and all into the analytics of the game, so they claim that it's going to be the worst World Series ever, even though I'm excited for Kansas City. For them to write, what is this? Let me look at how many paragraphs is in this trash of an article. There's like 9 paragraphs. For you to waste your time doing that, even though you're paid, you're a loser. I'm sorry it's not the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers, but the fact that you have the audacity to type this trash, how do you look yourself in the mirror and go, I'm a sports analyst? I just had to get that off my chest. I didn't want to make this the Hoppe show because you guys are going to get involved, but I had to get that going. Because when we were driving up here, I was really quiet. K-Wall was doing all the talking, but I told him, watch out. Once the mic turns on, that's when the fury's going to come. What was the term you used for it?
The calm before the storm.
That's what it was. Like, I was just, like, sitting on the tide of the bay, watching the tides roll away. Like, I was just a little tide, but that was a monsoon. Like, I am so sick of sports analysts. Like, what is your take, Timmer? Because they make me sick, because they never played, but they have the audacity to trash them, and they come up with these fake plot lines.
If I actually watch sports, I would have something to say on this issue, but I could care less.
Yeah, I mean, I'm becoming that way too. I watch the games. I mean, I'm going to get up at 12 to watch the Bears because I'm a fan, and I'll tweet out my opinion. I might trash the Bears, but I'm not going to trash how they play. I'll trash their decision-making. But people actually trash Jay Cutler or these guys. Like, you don't even know them.
Right.
I'd like to see you get sacked time after time and throw touchdowns. I'm not saying Jay Cutler's an all-time great quarterback or he's ever going to lead us to success, but he's better than you'll ever be to all the scumbags out there that write these articles. Same scenario with this guy that wrote that article. Welcome to the world's worst World Series ever. David Schoenfield. Listen, buddy, you never were good enough to play sports. You never had the talent, so you just type up your cute little articles about these athletes who have hotter wives than you, who drive nicer cars, who have bigger houses, and who have more talent than you ever could have dreamed of. Shut up.
You know what, though? These guys write these articles for clickbait.
I know, but I'm not doing this to give them attention. I know I'm giving him attention, but people were actually reporting it as news and like we're saying, let's debate. Will it be a good World Series or a bad one? I'm calling him out for having these fake scenarios because you have a great point. They just do it just because they're bored. They're like, what can we do to get some clicks on our website?
Well, not only that, it's the equivalent of trolling somebody. Like, if I say that I agree with something, or like I go with the opinion that isn't the popular opinion, then people are going to be like, well, no, you're incorrect, and here's why.
Yeah, and that's why I love this show. I'm not complimenting myself, but that's why I like the vibe of it with K-Wall, with Timmer, when we have Super Rich here almost every time, and then we have Risky here sometimes. What I like about it is we're outspoken, but we don't force arguments. Like the former co-hosts I've had in the past, all of them, they all would have fake... Yeah. R.I.P. R.I.P. if I may quote Young Jeezy. The thing about it is they would just try to argue with me just to argue with me.
Right.
But what we do in the show is if you agree with me, it makes better banter. But we don't go, disagree with Hoppe. Hoppe, you take this outrageous side. Go, like they do on First Take. Because you know ESPN First Take does that.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to play the devil's advocate for sure. Like, you can't just have a panel of 3 jocks over here.
Why can't you?
Well, you could, but then it wouldn't make for interesting radio.
There would be a bias.
If everybody's just groping everybody's testicles here, then it's
But, I mean, I'm not saying we all grope each other and give each other handies and we agree with each other, but that's almost better radio because then you bounce ideas. When you're agreeing, new ideas come up in your head. You know what I mean?
I understand. But, if something like this comes up and I don't really have an opinion on the subject, I'm just going to play the devil's advocate just to do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you did that. But you're not disagreeing with me. You're not like, well, this guy has more talent than you because he types papers. I mean, you're doing a devil's advocate, but you're not forcing.
I'm not even siding with this guy at all. I just mentioned that.
Do we have a call, man?
Already?
What a caller.
Nice. Somebody's upset.
All right, let's turn off Timmer's mic. What if it's David Schoenfield? All right, screen to call. Yeah, I mean, it's getting utterly ridiculous. All right, read this article and we're not going to read the whole thing, but I just love this. It's so juicy.
I guess somebody needs to say it. This isn't exactly the 1927 Yankees battling the 1975 Big Red Machine.
That makes no sense. That's like saying if it's a bad Super Bowl, it's not like the Packers of the 60s playing Tom Brady of the 2000s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't compare two eras that are 50 years apart. Do you agree with me?
Yep.
What else does it say? All right, so should I put this guy on?
Put him on.
All right, who is it?
Caller, go ahead.
All right, WNUR, Hoppe and Super Rich. Who is this?
Hey, Ryan, it's Turkey.
What's up, Turkey? What do you have to say?
You know what I've got to say, man. Come on, I've been bashing the Cardinals, and on Twitter. What?
Okay, wait. Listen. I'm not going to hang up on you, but it's a bit off topic. I will get to that. We will get to that after this segment, but we are focused on sports analysts who never played a lick of sports but talk to trash and act like they know sports just because they watched it and they sat at home jaying off while it was on in the background. I'm not talking about the Cardinals.
No, but that's the thing. The sports analysts come into it because what you've been saying on Twitter is that, they get all this media coverage. They've been in the news and this and that. Man, we never get media coverage till we make the playoffs, ever.
Good, because everyone's sick of your team. You are the Patriots of the MLB every year. Somehow the Cardinals find a way to make it to the playoffs. You lose Albert Pujols. Everyone says you're done. Then all of a sudden, David Freese becomes your hero, and then you guys make it. I can see why people don't like him. We're sick of seeing those red jerseys in the playoffs. And plus, as a Cubs fan, I'm jealous of your team. I love your city, but I despise the Cardinals.
Always out pitching the Cubs, for sure.
Okay, well, so the Giants, who you say, who you have said in social media, have done nothing, and you're excited for the series. They are 7th in payroll at 154, 185, 878 billion dollars.
So what are you getting at?
What I'm getting at is that the Royals are right under the Cardinals at 19.
But what's your point? I don't care about the money or anything else. I'm just saying it's great to see a team that hasn't been in a World Series since Ronald Reagan was president. Since Ghostbusters came out. Ghostbusters!
I'm rooting for the Royals all the way, bro.
I like the Giants because I love the city of San Francisco, so I'm torn. I just want a great series. I want a great Game 7 series just to shut off David Schoenfield.
Wait, are you rooting for the Royals because the Cardinals were beat by the Giants?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're in Missouri, too, so it helps. I mean, and they're the underdog. I like to root for the underdog.
Okay, but do you legitimately find them to be the better team?
I don't know who the better team is. They're both pretty much equal. They have good pitching. They're scrappy.
But the Royals are on fire, dude.
I think the Royals are a team of destiny this year.
Yeah.
And I
totally agree.
All right.
I hope that they are.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have K-Walt read some more of this douchebag David Schoenfield, this nerd's article, and chime in when you have your take. But this is just a joke of an article. He was so desperate. He's like, what can I say to piss people off? Enough of sports journalism. So what does this say?
The Kansas City Royals won 89 games during the regular season, and the San Francisco Giants won 88, the fourth fewest combined wins in World Series history, behind only the 1981, 1918, and 1973.
See, this is a guy who knows his facts, who literally dug it up. Doesn't matter how many wins you have. No, because once you hit the playoffs, anything can happen. Thank God it's not the Yankees. RE2PECT. I'm so sick of seeing respect.
Or
can you imagine
Boston
how?
Even.
or Boston winning last year, or the Cardinals. Sorry, Turkey. Like, I know the Giants have been in it 3 of 5 years, but since the media doesn't cover them, it doesn't feel like they've been there 3 of the last 5 years, and they're a likable team. This guy's just mad that his crony of a company, ESPN, isn't covering their butt buddy, Derek Jeter, or the Yankees, or the Dodgers, or the Red Sox, or even like the Cubs, or some team that gathers traction. They're mad that it's Kansas City, a small market that's great, and San Francisco, a market that's the 4th biggest market, but ESPN doesn't cover them. And don't give me this crap to anybody who might call in and say, well, they're not big markets. Why is ESPN going to cover them? K-Wall, Timmer, if you cover them and you teach the audience who Lorenzo Cain is, or who Tim Lincecum is, or any of the players on the Giants or Royals, people will learn.
Right.
That's why you're a sports network, you douchebags. You're becoming TMZ. What did LeBron eat for breakfast this morning? Did Johnny Manziel snort some more coke and not get along with Brian Hoyer? Enough of you. So what else does the article say? Just kind of like scroll down a little more, like around here.
Now, hold on. Am I correct in hearing you and saying that people don't know who Tim Lincecum, a Cy Young winner, is?
Not a household name because they don't cover them. If you're a sports fan, you've heard of Tim Lincecum, Turkey, but he's not a LeBron James.
Yeah.
There could be so many more household names if the worldwide leader in sports, as they like to call themselves because they're douchebags, if they covered players equally, there'd be so many more household names. But every time you tune on ESPN, it's Johnny Manziel, Johnny Manziel, Johnny Manziel, LeBron, Johnny Manziel, Ray Rice. It's the same crap.
Well, no, and I take your point on that completely. But at the same time, nobody even talks about baseball anymore, hardly.
Because ESPN doesn't cover it. If they were to cover it and force it down our throats, we would care. They forced LeBron James down our throat. Now we care. They made up a decision, and everyone watched it. Whatever ESPN does, people will follow because they're ESPN. So don't give me that crap, Turkey. I mean, you're a cool guy. I like talking to you on Twitter, but you're wrong on this. Whatever you cover, people will follow. If they began covering the Royals right now and doing like what is that documentary called that they do?
E60.
If they began doing that about the Royals, people would care.
Or 30 for 30.
Yeah, people would care. But because they're not talking about them, this might be a low-rated playoff series.
No way. No way.
No way on what?
Even higher rated playoff series if it were between St. Louis and the Royals. Because that would have been a 1985 rematch.
You're just saying that because you want the Cardinals in there, but that's a good point.
No, and that's I mean, honestly, it would be. It's called the I-70 series. You remember when New York played?
No, because I wasn't
Subway
alive.
Series.
You were alive. It was what?
What would the White Sox versus Cubs World Series be called? Like the Red Line Series?
It'd be called Who Gives a Damn.
It'd be called The End of the World. All right, Turkey, before we let you go, where can people find your podcast and your show online?
Oh, you know me, man. It's
well, the audience doesn't.
Hashtag RMG Crew.
Okay.
And you can find it on Spreaker. You can also find Big TMJ, hashtag RMG Crew.
It's basically the fan base of Rovers Morning Glory. You guys are all badasses. I love your support.
Big ups, man.
Hashtag RMG Crew. And Hoppe, I wish you the best of luck with all of that.
We're going to keep it hush-hush because it's whatever, but I appreciate what you did. I appreciate the hashtag Hire Hoppe. Do it right now, and you'll see what it's about. But I'm not going to whore myself out. Whatever happens, happens. I'm a badass. All three of us, Timmer and K-Wall, I guess, or more me and Timmer, we're going to get jobs in radio. So if I don't get this one at Rover, it's fine. Whatever happens, happens. But I appreciate the support. Thank you for coming on the show, Turkey.
Well, and I also want to say what's up to Timmer and K-Wall. Thank you guys for co-hosting.
Thanks for the support, man.
You were like a real call that gave us material. You weren't some girl trying to have phone sex with me or some schizophrenic weirdo from Gary, Indiana, who thinks he can sing.
Oh, great. I listened. That was great.
Yeah, that was one of our top downloaded segments. Once again, Turkey, thank you for coming on the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. All right, back to my point. Read a little bit more of this paragraph, because this is when it gets good. This David Schoenfield guy who hides behind a keyboard, and no one's heard of him.
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard killers.
Keyboard commandos.
That's actually, like, to say that he's a keyboard killer, you're insulting the keyboard killers. That's how bad this guy is. Like, I bet ESPN is just like, write something wacky to piss people off. I'm not mad that he wrote it. I'm mad that this was published and this is actually sports news. I don't care that he wrote it. What's up, K-Wall?
Well, I mean, like, when he says, like, this is arguably the worst World Series matchup ever as far as quality of teams. Okay, like,
what do you
shut
want?
up.
What do you want? Do you want Yankees and Red Sox?
Yankees and Red Sox.
Like,
That's what they want, yeah.
Like you show every goddamn Sunday and every Wednesday. That's why I can't learn about baseball. People will watch sports. If you were to have given Oakland, I know they lost early on, but a team that was good the whole year, or the Tigers, teams that don't get coverage, if you show it, people will follow. But all you guys show is Yankees and Red Sox. People are sick of it, unless you're in New York or Boston. Or you're a bandwagoner across the country. No one wants to see that. I get it was Derek Jeter's last ride, but thank God is he gone. So sick of hearing about it. Respect. We get it. He's an all-time great.
You know, if he played for the Cubs, he wouldn't have had such respect.
Actually,
no.
Well, yeah, if he played for us for 20 years and didn't win anything, but because it's the Yankees, man.
Then maybe Steve Bartman Day wouldn't be official holiday for Sox fans.
Yeah, right?
So what does it say right here? Right there.
So these aren't great teams. So this is arguably the world's worst World Series matchup as far as quality teams. Giants fans can disagree, but if this was a great team, why did the Giants put themselves in the dice roll of the wild card game?
You make the playoffs, Timmer. If you make the playoffs, you're a good team. You can't compare potato. I get they're not the top seed like the other teams where they lost.
Right.
But once you make the playoffs, you're as good as any other team.
Not only that, they had to fight to get into the playoffs by the wild card.
Which makes them warriors.
Right.
And not just that. But I didn't see ESPN writing anything both times when the Giants barely made the playoffs in the NFL and won the Super Bowl. No, they kissed Eli Manning's ass. That was a wild card game. They debated for 2 weeks. Is he better than Peyton Manning?
No.
Well, according to Super Bowl wins, maybe.
Not even by a long shot, in
No,
my opinion.
I'm just saying that's like an analogy because it's a wild card.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Just like how they didn't give the Spurs any coverage because they beat their butt buddy LeBron James. Enough of you, ESPN. Call the show if you have an opinion on me being a ranter right now. 847-866-WNUR. It's 847-866-9687. All right. What else does it say right here?
Why couldn't they beat out the Dodgers for the division title?
I don't know, because the Dodgers had more
fell
firepower,
apart. Yeah,
but
they
then they
fell
choked
Dodgers
in the
had
playoffs.
Kershaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers were a regular season team. Quit kissing their ass, David Schoenfield. Show some respect. I want to see you go out there. Who was the pitcher in the top of the ninth? Whatever his name is, the bases were loaded, and he got out of the jam for the Giants. I want to see you put on a baseball glove and try and pitch. You probably look like a nerdy douchebag with your little awkward throw.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Throw it a little faster than 65 miles an hour.
65, he can barely do that.
I bet he throws like that guy from the Volkswagen commercials.
I bet when he throws, it like hits the like ground. Like it doesn't even like reach.
It doesn't even hit clay, it hits grass.
It doesn't even hit the ground.
It just like kind of flies in the air, and you have
Yeah,
no idea where it
behind
went.
him.
Or I feel like when he throws, he's like throwing for the sky, like he has no coordination. Like he's throwing a Hail Mary bomb, and it hits some fan in the head if he did a first pitch, but he wouldn't because he's not popular enough. All right,
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of this story already.
Yeah.
all right,
Same.
just read this, just read that, and then we're done.
Royals fans can point out that their team has won 8 postseason games in a row, but if the Royals are a great team, why did they put themselves in the dice roll of a wild card game?
Imagine if the Royals sweep all the way through the World Series. Then
Then
what's
they'll
this
be
guy
good.
going to say? What is he going to say then? The Royals?
Actually, I don't want that. I want a 7-game series. I want the best World Series of all time, just to shut up David Schoenfield. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I
they
mean-
might sweep. I actually see that happening, but I'm just saying, what if it's the best World Series ever and it just puts this little nerd in place?
Right, because viewership will pick up around games 5, 6, and 7. Like if it's a battle back and forth, they win one game here and lose one game. Then all of a sudden it's going to gain traction, and then this guy's going to look like an even bigger fool.
Right, otherwise it ends up like the 05 World Series where it's the White Sox versus the Astros.
Yeah, right, where nobody gave a damn.
Except for the Southsiders.
Yeah, and they just cleaned the house all through the playoffs that year. The White Sox were just on a tear.
I just
They
don't
beat
get
up Boston.
Yeah, I just don't get the
Anyone
argument.
can beat the Astros.
Who did?
Yeah, well,
Anyone
the Cubs can't.
The Cubs can't.
That's true.
Even if they do have what's his name still, Marmol.
Yeah.
Marmol.
God, did I hate Marmol. What a schizophrenic, bipolar douchebag. One day,
arm.
he's the greatest ace ever. The next day, he's freaking out. He's crying.
He's
Him and
choking.
Zambrano. Oh, my God. Zambrano made me
Big
want to
C.
vomit.
Yeah, Zambrano was a good hitter though.
He was more of a
Hell yeah,
hitter
he
than he
was.
was a pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, early in his career, great pitcher, then just kind of like...
Yeah, I think.
Now he's known for beating up the Gatorade cooler.
Yeah. Right.
I loved when he would freak out on, who was it, Derek Lee, and, like, someone had to hold him back.
I think it was like Michael Barrett.
No, he freaked out on Michael Barrett. There's so many times
Yeah, his
Carlos
own
Zambrano
teammates.
freaked out. It's hard to remember. But there was a time he was going after Derek Lee, and, like, someone had to, like, hold him back. I think it was, like, Kerry Wood was like, dude, calm down.
Yeah.
God. And then every time he would screw up, he's like, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to do it. And then he would do it the next month. You douchebag.
No wonder why the Cubs can't afford
All right,
a Gatorade machine.
so do we got some closing statements about this article?
Here's just my thing. I get that people love watching sports. It's the most consumed entertainment besides TV, besides porn, besides video games. I mean, people love their sports. I love watching it. I used to be one of these guys. I would critique athletes, but then I got put in my place by people on Twitter, and I changed. This is like 2 years ago when I did a show at Harper, and it's just like, you're not as good as them. It's okay to have your opinion, but when you begin trashing the quality of a game, even though they made it to the top game that everyone dreams of playing when they play people in the backyard. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, who are you, David Schoenfield? It says there, you've been at ESPN since 1995. You've been there since I was 2 years old, and I'm 21. No one's ever heard of you.
Exactly.
No one's ever going to hear of you. This was a desperate plea for attention, and it sort of worked, but by next week, you're going to be diddly squat. I know you work there at ESPN, and you wish you were Chris Berman. You wish you were other people,
Dan
but you're
Patrick.
not. What's up?
You couldn't even fill Keith Olbermann's shoes, buddy.
You couldn't fill anybody's shoes. What are you trying to say, Cable? I'll explain.
Well, I mean, pretty much. If you look at the comments of the article,
They're crushing him.
The comments are always the best part of these troll articles.
Here's what the top guy said. They got 4,000 likes. This is actually a pretty bad article. Well, no doubt.
No, really.
The worst World Series just because neither one of these teams pays a dumb amount of money to their players
Or
to
doesn't
try
come
and
from
buy
LA.
championships like the Dodgers or Yankees. That's a great part. This is a homegrown team, even likable more. You don't have Magic Johnson paying on money or who's the owners of the Yankees? God damn it.
Steinbrenner?
Yeah,
Steinbrenner.
you don't have them paying money to A-Rod and to
sit on the
Brian
bench and
McCann
bat
and all
240.
those guys.
I hate him.
Yeah. Here's what it says. Plus, so what if they didn't have the best record in baseball in the regular season? They got it done in the postseason like they're supposed to.
Yeah, where are the teams with the best records at now? Watching the World Series.
Sitting at home or golfing.
Here's my
right.
favorite part. This is where he puts that douchebag in his place. This is also terrible because you say, why did they put themselves in the dice roll of a wild card game? They had big injuries all season with Kane, Pagan, Scutero, Belt, and Moores. Belt and Morris are the only players to come back from injuries and play, and they aren't close to being the most significant players to come back from injury. That guy just put him in my place, and guess what? So did I.
We got a toilet swish sound.
Coming up, the Hoppe and Super Rich Show.
I wish. Here's my sound for you. All right. Here's what's coming up on the show. We're not going to talk about it too long, but we have some. Actually, we will. But we have a bunch of classy news to get into. Like, it is like wacky this week. Like, let me load some of this up. Since we don't have Super Rich here to load it up, it's kind of weird. All right. Like, one, it's the weirdest Craigslist ever. Like, the weirdest Craigslist ads. You can check it out. We will read about it. Also, there's a scare going on in Denver right now. People are afraid that the candy that's going to be given out is going to have weed in it. So people in Colorado are freaking out.
Are you kidding me?
Call the show, 630-785-2510. That is 630-785-2510. Up next is Grind on Me by Pretty Ricky, taking you back to 2006. We will be right back on the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. Hang on.
The Hoppe and Super Rich Show.
This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out hopperadio.com and hoppesworld.com.